Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Grind. Today we have a bit of a roundtable discussion all about editing. I'm going to be your host today, Alec Bobko, and joining me from Waypoint, we have Chance.
How we doing, everybody? Excellent to see you.
And we have two great guests joining us. From Patch Notes, we have Makenna.
Hello.
And from twitch.tv/Robodessert, we have Chris.
Hi.
So, to start off, we're going to just start kind of talking about some of the editing programs we use. So, Makenna, actually, before we do that even, let's just introduce yourself to the Waypoint community. Makenna, why don't you give us a start?
Oh gosh, hi. I'm Makenna. I do a lot of different things. I edit and produce weekly video game show called Patch Notes. I have a few other random long form podcasts, HBO Max, Short Sports, Our Magical Neighborhood. You can catch me on Simply Sassy every so often. You can catch me on twitch.tv/Jose Rekas on Sport Night. Find me anywhere, really. I'm doing it all, living the
Sounds like
life on the internet.
You're everywhere all the time.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, keeping busy.
very busy.
And Chris, how about you go next? Go next. Ew. Words are hard. Words are hard.
They are hard. Hi, I'm Chris, aka Robo or Robodessert. I stream on Twitch under Robodessert, and I have my own YouTube and TikTok. But I also co-run Co-op Comedy on YouTube with Robert Highwind, where we post weekly, daily. I never quite know how to say it. It's like 3 to 4 times a week. Gaming and comedy videos. We're just getting into some new stuff too. That's like gaming adjacent, but not actually playing games. We're really excited about. So, yeah, you can find me around, bouncing around on the internet, just stumbling through things.
And now
Stumbling through things, a millennial story.
Right?
it's so true.
Oh, man.
All right. I know Chance and I, we're both edit videos here on Waypoint. I gotta say, Chance, you've been helping out so much.
Thank you.
Especially, I mean, just that tweet like I put out today about all the stuff we did last week. I couldn't have done that without another editor here.
Yeah.
That was a lot of stuff to put out last week. So
We had quite the content rollout last week, that's for sure.
So, all right. Chance, how about we start us off with what editing programs you use?
So, like anybody with MacBook Pro, I started out with iMovie, of course, right? And then quickly realized the flaws in that program. So, I mean, we're all kind of funny best friends here. Tim and Nick always saying, learn the Adobe suite if you're going to learn how to edit. And so I got suckered into one of those subscriptions about, I think, in 2018, and have been putting away at that for the last, I guess, 3 years now. So I use Premiere and After Effects mostly.
McKenna, how about you?
I mainly use Davinci Resolve for everything. I am in school right now, and we use Premiere Pro, so I do know Premiere Pro a little bit. But Davinci is my main editing software.
And Chris?
Yeah, when I very first got into video editing, I was on a MacBook and was using Final Cut for a long time, and then
Nice.
yeah. But that was like a very different type of editing than what I do now, because that was I very infrequently will make online sketch videos with a friend of mine, Jose, and it was like film editing, so we were doing like color correction and like actually cutting together clips and stuff. But now I just like reformat Twitch clips basically. So I don't really have to worry about that. But now I'm using Premiere Pro, which is a really good program. I've tried some other free stuff like Lightworks, which was good. It was a good free option, but I wouldn't say it was limited. It just felt like if you want to do this, you better know that one key command for it, or good luck stumbling your way through that timeline. But yeah, I love Premiere. It's solid. It's like really scary when you first get into it, but then once you like work with it a little bit more, you're like, oh, it's just scary because you can do basically whatever you want with it. And then once you find out what you want to do, it's pretty approachable.
And then
So
there's
love me
4
some
ways to
Premiere.
do everything.
Exactly. Yeah. You can do it this way. You can do it this way.
Yeah, that's going along with that, like scary at first, but once you know what you're doing, it's like, oh, this is so easy. Davinci
Mhm.
Resolve. That's what I use for video
Mhm.
editing. Because there's that whole, it's almost like Premiere and After Effects all in one program because you have the edit page and the fusion page that you can animate in. I don't really mess with the fusion page. I basically stick with the editing page.
Yeah,
And
that's one thing I haven't touched at all. It looks scary. Any sort of After Effects or anything. I would really like to, but I have not gotten to that yet.
It's too scary.
Somebody who has gotten
Yeah.
addicted to the After Effects, don't. Like it is such a deep
Yeah.
hole, and then like I find myself like kind of like a a dog that doesn't know where to go, and so like I'm like, oh, I want to try this, and then I go like really far down an animation rabbit hole that's like anyway. Stick with it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
it's and then
Yeah.
Illustrator. I don't know if you guys have ever opened Illustrator. That's just disrespectful. Like
No.
Illustrator is just disrespectful.
I did a little bit in college, but that was just because I was doing, I went to school for architecture, so we had to do a little bit of, stuff to like design boards and that kind of a thing.
I did not know you did architecture. That's super cool.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, so I messed around with Adobe stuff in college a little bit, but now I mainly use Davinci Resolve because that's free, and then the 2 Affinity products, so Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer, which is the equivalent to Photoshop and Illustrator.
Yeah.
And because those are only like $50 each for a one-time license fee, so and they can do basically everything the Adobe products can do.
I got into Affinity Designer, and so far it's just made me mad. But I know that's only because I'm like I taught myself how to use Photoshop, and I've been using that since like I don't know, I was like 15 or something. And so I got very used to Photoshop, and I do a lot of stuff in Photoshop that I really should be doing in other programs, like graphic design work. That's like it doesn't scale.
the
You
same
can't
way.
scale this up, or But I'm so like it's what I know, so it's just I default to it. I'm way faster working there. But I downloaded Affinity Designer, and I was like working and stuff, and I'm like, why can't I just make the background a color? Why can't I do this? And like Robert Hyland, who knows what he's doing in that program, was like, no, you got to do this. And I'm like, why? Why can't I just do it? And it's learning. Everything has a learning curve. Everything is a learning curve.
And YouTube is your best friend.
Yeah.
Yo.
Oh God.
my
YouTube
God.
and Google. Yep.
So we're all graduates of the YouTube University, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
As somebody
Thank
that's
God.
a self-taught editor, yeah, because I started with I can't even remember the name of it. It was just some like best free, video editor for beginners kind of a thing. And it's like so downloaded some like probably some that got me a virus or something.
As malware
It was
all in
pretty
it.
sketchy.
Yeah.
Then I remember talking to Robert Hyland, a friend of the show, and he was using that Premiere Rush a while back. And basically, like, I think it's like $10 a month, and you get unlimited exports and all that. And I tried the free version and was doing that pretty well. And I quickly realized, though, when I went to edit the launch video for Waypoint, that having only 3 tracks sucks.
Very limiting. Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as I heard that, I'm like, after that video, I'm giving Davinci Resolve a try. And I have not looked back.
Yeah.
And Resolve is just a one-time purchase, right? It's not like a subscription.
It's a free, actually. It's
Oh,
but
shit.
they have a free and a not free version, right? They have like the
but
fancy
I haven't
one,
run into
but-
anything that I couldn't do that I needed to do
Very
in the free
interesting.
version. So
I haven't either.
Mm.
Except
Yeah,
when
see,
I'm
this
playing
is-
around
yeah.
with stuff. Then I run into the paywall, but it's like,
Mm,
everything else
Exactly,
is
yeah.
good. Yeah.
yeah. Click that button. You're like, I don't know what that does. Oh, don't
Alright,
click that
It's
button.
basically-
I'm not gonna
it's a-
find out what it does.
Yeah.
it's a big button or a big like pop-up that's just like,
Yeah.
you need the studio version to use this. And it's like $300, something crazy.
No, I don't.
I'm fine with
Every
that.
time you click out of your box, it's just like, give me the money.
Yeah.
Give it.
Mhm. It really isn't that much stuff, though. If you're really just using it to like cut and edit, like
Mhm.
there's barely anything that it's mainly in like the generators page that I accidentally click on something and
Yep.
I really need to just dive into it and just try to stop paying for Premiere for like a little bit. But again, it's like I feel like it's going to be like Photoshop and Affinity, where I'm like, why can't I just do that when I just don't know the key binding yet? For but if I just sat down with it and
Or
gave it
where
some
it
time.
is in the menus, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
So I have a question about your guys' workflow, the two of you that use Davinci, because I know Chris would know, but like the workflow from Photoshop into Premiere into After Effects is all like very lined out, and that's always something I've kind of been interested to hear, like how your workflow happens. Are you able, like, I just am not versed in Davinci at all, but
No, McKenna, if you want to start, I can.
Oh,
Mine's kind of, I don't know how normal it is, but it works for me. So
I feel like my workflow can best be described as like going around my butt to get to my elbow, because I just take the long route and doing everything. I have been using keybinds. I've learned that magical world, so it's made things a little bit quicker. But like, oh gosh, I might have a different definition of workflow in my head. So please stop me if I'm not answering your question correctly. But so what I do, I just pop the regular recording in, cut it up, then go back and like make notes of what I need to add in, and then I go back again and then add everything in. So I'm going through everything twice at least, and then I go through it like 2 more times. I don't know if I answered your question. I'm sorry if I
no,
did.
that's like exactly
Okay,
what I
cool.
was wondering.
Yeah, it's like I go through things like 4 times. I know I shouldn't, but I just do it because I'm like, I got time to do it, I guess. May as well. But yeah, it's way more than I should, but it happens.
yeah. So for me, it's like I got the raw recording, and I actually set OBS up to where it records my mic and the Discord audio separately, so I can actually adjust those, which has come in handy quite a few times. And then I basically drag that, and then any of the other assets like the lower thirds, the subscribe animation, uh, end screen, the music, like all that, just drag that into the media page. And at that point, it's just basically get the intro. I've got, at this point, I've got everybody's volumes like set to where I kind of need it to be. So I really don't need to edit the podcast much at all, aside from trimming, the first little bit and the last little bit. And at that point, while it's rendering in Davinci Resolve, that's when I'll make the thumbnail. So
nice.
use that time, and then after that, it's just uploading to YouTube.
Yeah, Chance, you said I would know about the workflow between Photoshop and Premiere. I feel like when you said that, I was like, I don't know about the workflow. Is there, because like
Just
if I create something in Photoshop and want to use it in Premiere, I'll like save it as a file or whatever, and then just import it into Premiere as I would any other. Is there like a direct link between Photoshop and Premiere
you
that I
can
don't know about?
pull like Photoshop files into. I know this, like, this is how I do it for After Effects, because that's what I've been using to composite more. Like, it's gotten to the point now where I'll take things and like that I know how to do in Premiere, but I know how to do them quicker in After Effects. So like Photoshop files, like you don't need to save it as a PNG, and you can import the entire file and then like mess around with like the backgrounds and all that other stuff in the actual
You're
like
blowing
editing
his
software.
mind right now.
Yeah.
I
So-
definitely did not know about the workflow between Premiere and Photoshop.
Yeah. So then like I have started to use Illustrator recently, and so I actually, like, first time buying a plugin, and let me tell you what, it was $45. I've already, like, I would do it again in a heartbeat. And it's just I forget what I think it's called, Overlord. And Illustrator files are a little bit harder. You kind of have to, in Illustrator, kind of set those up how you want them to be presented in After Effects. But with like minimal effort, you can get this plugin to like just, you hit the up arrow and then you hit the in Illustrator, and then you hit the down arrow in After Effects or in Premiere, and it just downloads it exactly like how you have it set up. Anyway, yeah. And then if you're in Premiere and you want to take like a certain section of a clip and just mess with it a little bit in After Effects, you need to mess with the coloring, or you want to do like a transition, you can right click on it and it says replace with After Effects comp, and then it just exports that, makes its own After Effects like save file for it, and then you can mess with it from there. That's like one of the main reasons I'm still such like a Adobe schlup, is because like how easy it is to transfer files and just kind of
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can
Edit
understand
things how you
that.
need to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't gotten too into like animating anything with After Effects or anything like that, but that sounds unbelievably uh faster than let me export this and then let me import this and oh that didn't work, let me export it again and then import it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like I don't know if you guys experience this like with learning any of these programs, especially like we all talking about, you know, going to the college of YouTube, but like I find it in a way easier to go through like YouTube as opposed to going through a class because I feel like a lot of times when the classes they covered a lot of things that I'm like I'm not going to use half of the stuff that you tell me, but I want to know how to do this one specific thing, so I'll learn that one specific thing, look that up. But then I miss a lot of like the really basic like helpful stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know?
God,
Like,
you just
okay. For me, the biggest thing in Davinci Resolve was in the edit page, because you have the cut page and the edit page, and I normally stay in the edit page when I'm doing everything. When you hit A is like you use that to like select, and then when you go B, that's like what you use to cut. And I did not know that for the longest time, so I was kept going to like the little toolbar to switch between them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, key bindings make a big difference.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
have
And then using,
you
I think it's J, K, and L for like play, rewind, and fast forward. So like you can go like crazy fast like through just by using those three keys in the
Mhm.
edit page.
hell yeah. Have you heard about the A key binding in Premiere?
I
Chris?
use A all the time.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say because other Chris Lepak hadn't heard about that, and I told him right after he got editing a video, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
Yeah, I didn't know about it for a long time. I'm very lucky in a way too because Jose, the guy that I used to make the sketches with, or still do, we just make one every like 3 years. But his brother he like went to school for video editing, and now he edits those sketches and stuff. But he's incredibly familiar with Premiere. He does like full-time video editing as a job. So there's a lot of times when I'm just like, hey, I'm trying to do this like one thing. Is there a way to do this? Like, oh yeah, just do this. I'm like, thank God. Like it's just like these little like the key bindings or stuff. Or like the other day he told me
Mhm.
about the constant power audio transition, which if you don't know, it's like if you have two audio clips and it like applies a transition between them that will slowly lower the audio of one and raise the audio of the other, so it moves seamlessly between them, which
so
is
like
really good because we do
crossfade.
like quick cuts. Yeah, it's
Mm.
crossfade. But and I found this like easy way to just apply it on, and I was just like, this is life changing. Just like little things make a huge difference.
That is a new one to me, so I will be applying that from
Definitely,
henceforth.
yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. It's a night and day difference because like especially with co-op comedy with Robert, we've changed to like very like sort of quick cut style, and especially we're playing games like Far Cry 5 or something where we'll be
Oh my
driving a
gosh,
vehicle,
that.
and so you cut from like vehicle noises to like nothing. We're just like standing in the woods, and it's this hard cut. But now with that, it just like fades it out, fades in the forest noise, and
Mhm.
it's makes a world of difference as the viewer. It's great.
That testicle quest was something.
What is that game? The game is insane. If you don't know, the game has this whole quest designed around retrieving bull testicles for this like testicle festival that they do to be
Oh
eaten.
my! I forgot
That's
about
the
that.
entire quest of that. That's the entire meat. No pun intended. Meat
It was a
of that
great
quest.
video.
Yeah.
It is
So,
insane.
so I am from Utah, live here currently, and I believe Far Cry 5 is set in Montana. You guys
Mhm.
That's
are
correct.
aware that Rocky Mountain oysters are like a very big deal, right?
I have heard of this. Yeah.
Okay, because like that was like, oh, you guys are coming at every redneck I know right now.
Yeah. It was wild.
That's a good side quest.
Yeah. So
Somebody had to
one
code
thing,
that.
yeah, I think we were talking about this in the comments, but it's like there had to be meetings held about that quest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are we allowed to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about like how we like to go and find stuff on YouTube. I know for me, a couple content creators that have actually helped me a lot are Casey Ferris, Billy Ribka, and then I'm blanking on the other one. I would know it if I saw. I have to check YouTube, but the other one that I like blanking on the name of, he does amazing work in the Fusion page and is giving out presets. So like one of them that I use constantly on our TikToks is the progress bar on the bottom of the page. He actually just makes a bunch of presets that you can just load into Resolve. Are there any
Yeah.
other YouTubers that you guys have favorited for tutorials?
I mean, any time that you post, Alec, a video link on Twitter, I always watch it. So I'm sure I watched all of those. Just be like, it's such YouTube. Shout out to YouTube for being there. You know,
Mhm.
I definitely I don't have anyone specific in mind, but it's like always like whenever I need to find something for Davinci, it's always like the 1 minute tutorial or whatever. It's like
Oh yeah, those are great. They
those are
post like
great. hmm
it's
hmm
like a channel. It's literally just a tutorial, 1 minute, like
hmm
just all DaVinci Resolve. Like
Yeah,
it's an entire
Oh,
channel dedicated to
Straight
that.
to the point.
so great.
You cannot have a 1-minute tutorial for an Adobe product.
It's
No.
very
Yeah, I don't-
quick. It's very
Mhm.
quick,
don't-
like
It is.
depending on what it is.
You get in.
I don't think there's like specific creators that I like because I feel like every time I go to like Google something or look something up, I inevitably end up at a totally different person that's just happened to make a video about this one specific thing I'm looking for. But like like I said, I also ask questions to my friend Daniel, who's one of my mods on Twitch, DD Revolution. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
So I have a person that I go to who in person a lot of times, but there's not like specific creators that I look at. Not for that. I have creators for other things like for work in OBS and stuff, but for video editing specifically, I don't think
Mhm.
there's specific people. or
I
channels.
did I did find out the name is Patrick Sterling was the one that I kind of
Nice.
remember.
Sterling.
Mhm.
So one that I have found extremely helpful is Peter Mckinnon, and he just
Okay.
has like some like basic. This is like kind of what you need to know to get started in Premiere, and then he also has one for After Effects, and then he also has one for Photoshop. And I really liked his style. A little bit more on like the blue hue before that was a thing, and then he just has like this standard editor look with like all of the rings and the finger tatties and stuff, and he had long hair at one point. But Peter Mckinnon had definitely streamlined my After Effects work, but I actually just got a membership to Skillshare, and the first month is free for anybody wondering, and I cannot recommend that enough. Like, I watched a video about how shape layers are the most powerful thing in After Effects, and it was like, I use this for like a solid background. I don't use this for what this guy is using it for. And anyway, highly recommend Peter Mckinnon and Skillshare.
I'm coming out of this conversation with notes, just so I'm saying. Peter McKinnon.
Yeah, I'm glad because I am as well.
Yeah. What is Skillshare? I feel like I've heard the name, but I'm not super familiar with it.
So it is, how do I put this? Not as pompous as Masterclass, if you've seen any of the Masterclass
I have
stuff.
seen Masterclass, yeah.
So it is, at least from what I've seen, like it's all encompassing. So they would have DaVinci Resolve tutorials. They have everything from Premiere, After Effects, Illustrator, Procreate, and they have different, it's kind of a place to get the more premium, in-depth tutorials that you would get on YouTube, but you pay for it, and like that money does go a long way. It's only $15 a month. I don't know if I said that or not already or not, but totally worth it. It is very much in that style. And at least the videos that I've been watching are separated into like 8-minute long segments, so that way you can go chapter by chapter. And if you forget something, or if you want to go back to a lesson because you're like, oh, they use this one technique that I'm trying to use right now, you can go and like quickly find it. I've actually already done that multiple times. But it's more or less just like they have a sleuth of teachers or whatever instructors, and then those instructors will have like their own page where you like, oh, I liked this guy for this one intro to color grading, and then you go to his page and he has like all of these other videos, and so you can kind of pick and choose who you want your professor to be based off of like your style and the teaching techniques and everything. The best way I can describe it, like I said, is the upgraded YouTube University.
Interesting.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Check that out.
I personally have stepped up my game more in like the last 2 months using Skillshare than I have in like the last year. But also 2020 was hard, so don't hold that against me.
I mean,
Yeah.
that intro you made for Waypoint is dope. So
Yeah. Let's see if I can pull another one out of my butt.
I mean,
Tough, no.
the storyboarding stuff you've been showing us is you're gonna kill this
Oh, yeah.
this new intro. So
I actually
can't
am
wait to see
making. Hell yeah, dude! I am very excited for everybody else to see it. But spent a lot of time on this one. Probably already about 4 times longer than that first one. So
that. Oh wow.
yeah, dude.
We'll talk after the recording.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
So we can actually
We got to give people teases. We gotta
exactly
tease 'em.
exactly.
Tease them.
You're not ready for next month. You're not
No,
ready.
no.
I know something I don't normally or don't touch very often is, I think we've talked about it, is like the color grading or like the
Mhm.
that kind of part. I've dabbled in that page a little bit to like, you know, like the backgrounds that we have for our podcasts. A lot of those don't come with the colors that are for our, you know, our podcast. So like the one that's with the grind right now, it's purple, but it came like with like a blue. So I had to go in that and mess with like, you know, shift the hue a little bit and to get it to match like closer to our colors. You know, it's actually kind of fun to do that. To just, you know, like I said, I don't mess around with that page and Resolve much, but it is really cool to actually get it to look like the way that you want it when it was a completely different color to begin with. Like that E3 or the reaction background that we've been using, that started off as like blue and red, but I've shifted it to make it teal and purple.
Oh yeah, dude. I never would have guessed that you had done anything to that.
Mhm.
It doesn't have any artifacting or anything. You did a good job.
It's literally just like a hue shift and like some other minor adjustments. So I was just wondering if anybody else has kind of messed around with any kind of more the nitty gritty like aspects of video editing kind of a thing.
So I really didn't know color grading was a real thing until Sean Thomas is who posted about it. He is a freelance editor out in LA. Listened to his podcast for a little bit. And he had a quick kind of just 3-minute tutorial on how to do it that he just like threw together. And it kind of showed how to use it specifically in Premiere to like keep the, you know, the saturation from crushing out colors and all this other stuff. So I'm not going to pretend like I know what the hell I'm doing when I'm color correcting. It's more or less just like by feel. The thing that I have gotten pretty good at, I don't know if anybody else has tried this, is audio like repair with like denoise and stuff to get rid of fans. That is like, I dabbled into Audition for a brief moment, and I was like, no, I'm gonna stick with the Premiere stuff. But that's about. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I haven't messed because there's a audio part of Davinci Resolve 2 called Fairlight, and I have not even touched that page.
Yeah,
That's even scarier than the Fusion page.
Audio is a whole other world.
yeah.
Audio is an entirely other world.
That's all I was gonna say. Shouts out to the Bush League Gaming guys because they started off as an audio only podcast, and they say it's way easier than having video. I'm like, I don't know.
The video can distract you from the audio, though.
Exactly. Exactly.
You have a nice background. Everybody forgets the low hum coming from somebody's microphone.
Yeah. And no, I haven't really
broadcast
messed
helps with
with
that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm very grateful. I got a dynamic microphone that just cuts out background noise. I'm like, cool, I don't have to worry about that. I'll just talk right here and then just make sure it's on a separate track and we're good. But no, I haven't really messed with color grading at all. Not like I said, I used to a little bit when we were doing the sketches, but I every now and then like because sometimes I'll like film a TikTok on my phone and then import it into Premiere to edit it and stuff. And just every now and then the colors will be a little weird coming from the phone or whatever, but then it's really just like increased saturation here, like really, really minor stuff. So nothing too crazy. Luckily it's been pretty good. I do a lot more of that in like Photoshop, adjusting photos and stuff, but not too much in video editing right now, anyways.
So I've got DaVinci Resolve pulled up right now, seeing if I recognize anything. I don't recognize anything. I think I've attempted to like green screen stuff out, but it didn't go too great. So I've
I'm
stayed
the
away
same
for
way.
the. Yeah, it's fine. I'll find something else.
Mhm.
So yeah, like color grading, I don't really touch. In OBS, I'll do a little bit, but like even that, I'm just like, nah, I don't want to mess that up too much. And there's so many different buttons, and it's like, I know I'm gonna like implode the
Exactly
program
how I feel.
somehow. Um, it's like, yeah, no, I haven't done too much. Maybe one day, we'll see. Who knows? Not
Mhm.
right now though.
Yeah,
We'll find
speaking of green screening, I actually just saw a video a couple weeks ago from that YouTuber episode, Billy Ribka. They found a website that can do masking, like it'll mask like videos and photos just for you on the fly. It's a website like AI powered, and it just does that. I have to go back to the video to see what the website is, but that blew my mind. That you can, it's not like perfect, but it's better than like probably any of us could do. So
Yeah, I don't
like
green
Asking
screen anything in Premiere. I'll do stuff in Photoshop. I'll cut stuff out and do what I need to in there, and then import it into Premiere. But for like video, if it's in motion, I'm like, that's what it is. It doesn't move from that. If it's in
Mhm.
motion, we're done.
I
Yeah.
have done quite
Go
a bit of green screen. I used to be an editor producer for a Let's Play channel, wouldn't you know it? And actually, this wall that I'm looking at used to have a green screen on it, and that is something I don't miss because then it ruins every single documentary or reality TV show because you can see like the light purple on them from the color correction, and like you can see like the hard cutoffs on their hair. Like it
Oh
very
yeah.
quickly ruins television. And my partner was watching like some doc, and I just kept pointing it out, and it was like a very serious documentary, and she's like, I can't finish watching this, not because of the subject material, but because like that is driving me nuts because you pointed it out. And so green screen, I'll leave that to Marvel because they do it
Now,
way better.
oh
They
yeah.
do. Pull it
Now,
off.
Chance, I've sent you a few of these TikToks, but like, there's the one like the guy who like takes the shirt off and just like throws him, and he like masks himself out and like creates the different copies.
Yeah.
It's like I see that stuff. I'm like, how? The last one he
Very
put
impressive.
off or he put up, I actually did see a little bit of the mask that he missed. There's like a tiny, like a split frame or two where you can see like a little bit of white on the outside of the guy. It's like, but it's still just watching that. It's like, as an editor, I'm just like, ow.
So I have a quick question. How do you feel about AI getting better at editing? Because it makes me feel like I'm wasting my time when I like spend all of this effort learning how to do something properly, and then you see TikTok being able, like their AI algorithms for these different filters being able to tackle it in like a fraction of the time. Because for me personally, I have a hard time with it. Like I'm excited for the new tech, but it's also like, well,
Like how
I
there's
feel like,
websites that can
yeah,
just remove the background from pictures and make PNGs for you like in an instant when
yeah,
I spend so much time getting like right up next to the subject I need to cut out.
using that pen tool.
Yeah. I think they're great, honestly, because I think like especially if they can get better and better and more because I think there's always like that margin of error when you use AI as opposed to like if you're doing it yourself, no, I want to include this part when the AI would be like, no, that get that out of here. But like as the person doing it, you're like, no, I want to include that. But like one thing that I like I think my least favorite thing about editing, I actually really enjoy video editing. It's like depending on what you're doing, it could be like a fun puzzle. But like I feel like regardless of what you're doing, I'm sure we can all relate to this, it just takes time. It just takes time. It doesn't matter. Like you can use all the keybinds in the world and do all this stuff and save presets and everything, but like at the end of the day, Mckenna, you said you go through the things like 2 or 3 times. Like you still have to watch all the footage and go through. Like it just takes time. So if there's something that can save me time somewhere, if I can just click that button and it'll do that thing for me, great. You do that, and then I can go do anything else that's on my to-do list for a while. Because I love video editing, but it just takes time. It just always takes time. Which you can say about anything, but I feel like there's it feels to me more time consuming than other creative endeavors that I've been a part of in that
100%.
regard.
100% agree.
So yeah.
Like there's this Sunday I spent editing that travel vlog when I went to go visit Chris Rumblepack, and it was just one of those days where I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I got nothing going on today. It's like 3 hours later, I'm done editing this, 7-minute video. Like, and I had a blast doing it. Like, it's just one of those, like, it's 3:00 on Sunday now. What the heck happened to all that time?
Yeah, it just goes. It just goes. Which, like, on that subject, what things have you guys found that have saved you time in editing? Because I know we've all talked about key bindings, which, like, I feel like shave seconds off, but when you do them over and over and over, that adds up really a lot. Or, like, I save a bunch of presets now, especially converting Twitch clips into like TikToks and stuff, just saving a preset for this aspect ratio and all that. Like, what kind of stuff have you guys found that has shaved off time in your editing processes?
I have one real quick to get the conversation going, and it is Alec teaching everybody how to use Discord and Streamlabs or OBS on how to like set up a scene for a podcast. So that way, like all of the cropping and all of like the lining up and everything is already done. And I mean, he mentioned it before, it just streamlines it so fast. And like it takes a little bit of time, but for the like we have kind of designated people to record. Unfortunately, Alec is like the main one. But having that kind of preset, like you said, like I can just like drag it in. I know exactly what I need to do because it's all set up and it's a very quick process, but that's not necessarily something that you can do for every situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For me, the biggest thing with, especially with like editing our content, like we find a point in our podcast we want to clip out for like TikToks or social videos. The compound clip, so like what I'll do is I find that clip, I'll take out that chunk of the podcast that I want to like clip out, and then I'll just edit it down. And then instead of having to, like what I used to do was have to keep cropping and transforming each of those clips every time, if I just made it a compound clip, which basically just makes it all those separate clips into one clip, I can just copy the one and just crop and transform that one clip to where I needed to go. So that was a lifesaver when it came to like our E3 content, getting those out as quickly as I could.
Yeah, especially.
Oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
No. Oh, I was just gonna go into my own thing. But the compound clip, definitely shout out to that. But the two that come to mind, one with patch notes, I color code everything. So for every story, new color. So if I want to move stuff around, it's like I know exactly where to move it to, how many clips I need to move, and to where. And then the other thing, early on when I started doing patch notes, the background music, it's like only like 2 minutes, I think, is the song, but I threw it into Audacity. I think it made it like repeated it into a 10-minute clip, so I didn't have to like continually keep like messing around with it, like each individual thing. So that also cut down a lot of time.
Yeah.
So when you did that, it removed the need to like kind of like find where it loops and then like continue the loop into like another. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I really dig that.
Yeah, that kind of thing is always helpful. Like any intro clip, if you just save that as one clip on its own, that you can or import into everything, as opposed to like re-adding it every time.
That's what I did for our original end screen, was literally just save it with the music and it's like just drag that into the end of the podcast.
There it is. Bam. Yeah. Or like you were talking about working with multiple clips, just being able to like copy and paste settings onto multiple things is fantastic.
Oh my gosh. I finally a while ago learned how to do that in Resolve, and oh my gosh, that saved me so much time in that travel vlog. Another thing, as I was making a joke of this, I was talking to Bo when he was talking about one of our PlayStation TikToks, and the Spongebob time transitions are great tools for editors to have to convey time changes. I literally found a video on I found a video on YouTube where it's literally just every single time transition. So like,
oh man,
it's like
I love how SpongeBob is still so iconic in so many ways. Just use it everywhere still.
But just one more tip, file management, like just having like I have the lower thirds all in one folder. I have like all the resources, like the backgrounds and like just the things I use in like every video, just in a folder. It's file management goes so far for video editing or just editing in general.
Yeah, McKinney, you brought up a really good point of just like the color coding, like organization. If any, is just fantastic. Chance, do you know if there's a way to color code things in Premiere? Because I feel like everything, like I feel like video is always just like the track is just blue. Can you change the color of things?
Oh yeah.
Like,
So if you
put
go
different
into
colored markers.
if you go into your preferences, and that's actually something that like I really appreciate that she talked about. If you go into your preferences, you can change that, or if you right click on the clip, you can like label it a different color. And so you can totally go through and color coordinate that. Like in After Effects, I hate the colors that they use as the standard for like null objects and shape layers and stuff. And so I just changed it into like more of a cyan fuchsia palette because that is what I like to look at, and you're looking at it all of the time, so you might as well make it pleasant instead of like the hard red and brown of whatever.
Oh my god, I didn't know you could change these colors. This is unbelievable. This is
And you can like
fantastic.
customize
Thank
them
God
too.
for this. Okay, this is
I
this is
think
unreal.
in Resolve, it's just you just right click on whatever clip you want to change, right?
Yeah, I keybind those though.
Hell yeah.
Key bindings, baby.
Key binding.
That's something I really need to go through and do
Yes.
is just keybind everything. But honestly, just the couple that I used, because for our podcast, we just kind of like throw an intro, throw an outro, and call it good. So I really don't just the A and the B to change from select and cut, and then the play, pause, and like those three keys. Like that's really all I use.
Along the same lines of organization, I know you can do this in Premiere. I'm assuming you can do it in Davinci, but like organizing your workspace, like moving the timeline over here and like that's what it can really make or break how much time you spend on things too. It's huge.
So I have a question. We all have our favorite things that we like to edit. Like, do you have like a list of like the few? It doesn't have to be your absolute favorite thing, but like when you hear about something that you potentially have to edit, like what gets you like, oh yeah, I'm excited for that. I like editing this type of clips. I really like compilations, taking like for example, like when I did Watto and Review, taking all of those podcasts that they had done and then like going through and cutting it all out and then making it into like a not linear story, but a cohesive story instead of just like a bunch of random ass clips, and like kind of making a theme or like a, getting the momentum going. Those are like, anyway, that is something where it's like, maybe it's just because it's always a personal project, so I don't have anybody like standing over me watching me do it. But those are, and then Let's Plays, just because that's what like I started editing for whatever reason. I love editing down like Twitch clips. Just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would agree. And like as annoying as it is, I actually really enjoy having to edit anything that has like a really strict time limit on it. Like TikToks where they can only be a minute, or like when I was making my Twitch channel trailer can only be like exactly, 59 seconds. Like it becomes so frustrating when you're like, God, I just need to shave off 3 seconds. But then it just becomes like this really fun puzzle of like, okay, if I shave off this, okay, we don't need this word there, and we can, just figuring out what to cut where is really satisfying when you finally get it. It's so good.
I've done one multicam video and edit video, and that was probably one of my favorite things I've ever done, because I got to like use tools that I never really used and like figure out who should I cut to, and just working with like 3 tracks of videos all at one time. That was super fun, which I did not expect to enjoy. I thought it'd be like just terrible and like trying to work everything out, but no, I had a blast just being like, ooh, let's cut to his point of view. Why not? Let's do it. I really like multicam editing. That's pretty fun.
Hell yeah. I haven't gotten a lot to do that a lot, so that is one that I'll have to keep an eye out for if the opportunity presents itself.
For me, going back to that travel vlog, that was so much fun to me. Like I did the OBS or Slobs versus OBS video a while back, and I struggled to get through that thing. Like, and watching that, and I'm like, I could have done this, I could have done this differently, because that was my first ever short form content video, and I it was just one of those, like, because I wanted to get one of those out every month, and after doing that one, I'm like, it's not worth it. Like, I had a good time doing it, but I'm just like, it's not what I really wanted to do. The kind of informational, educational content. But doing this, like something that was actually fun to do, fun to record, fun to edit. I had a blast putting that thing together.
Hell yeah.
You
Having fun.
saying that reminded me of something else that I really enjoyed I did
Mhm.
recently. Back in August, this is like a more personal project, but back in August was my dad's birthday, and he through his work, he has like his own show in a way. It's weird. It's and video, which of course my sister and I became obsessed with and learned all the lyrics to. And then for his birthday this year, we remade the video, and that was really fun. One, getting to work with my sister, but two, also just editing that and like matching the like our lips with like the lyrics, because we didn't redo like the
Oh yeah.
audio, so we just like mashed it up with my dad rapping, but like my sister and I like doing like say like mouthing it. So that was also that was a fun project to do. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
And it's always fun when you get to like show family like what you're capable of. I'm sure like showing your dad that video, being like, "Look what I made you," and
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh my god."
yeah. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
love
know.
anytime you can like work with music like that too. I
Mhm.
love like editing comedy specific stuff because I have a background in comedy just overall. So like I love like for co-op comedy we do a lot of like quick cut stuff where it's just like finding exactly where to cut to get the biggest like comedic impact. Like okay, if I cut here, it's just funny, but if I cut here, it's like that much funnier for no reason other than that you cut
Mhm.
right there. Like it's I don't know, it's just I love finding that stuff and like especially being able to try to like sync it with music. I do that a lot for TikToks too, is like finding where to bring in the piano and then oh there's a little lull right here. Cool. It lines up with the lull in the song. It's perfect. Like I love trying to find the right
Yep.
music to fit perfectly. It's so much fun.
Speak Going on that line. Probably one of my favorite TikToks I've made was the one with our, I think it was Game of the Year or Game Award prediction episode, and it was where Chris's dog Cusco was just going nuts all right, about his neighbors, and I put the Benny Hill like theme song behind it,
Yeah.
and it was just like you hear us talking, and all of a sudden it just cut, and all of us would go away. You just see Chris's frame pop up, and then it's the Benny Hill song plays, and so he's like going fast motion. It's like, yep, it's probably one of
Yes.
my favorite one that I've made, and it was one of so early too. Like that was back in like November, December.
Yeah, that was right after Waypoint had launched, right?
Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Mhm.
Getting a flex early.
Going along that, what's your favorite video that you've or yeah, project video that you have done?
Oh. Ooh.
Oh gosh.
Ooh. So
So,
I'm not gonna say anything to do with Waypoint because I'm still working on that. That is like
mhm.
a work in production because Alec that right now is like my favorite.
Yep.
I would say I did a project with my dad a little while ago. It's probably been about 2 years ago now that I think about it, but he had taken his test for his master bladesmith certification. He's a knife maker on like the side just as like a
Ooh.
fun thing to do. Also been on Forged in Fire, if you guys ever watch that. So he passed his test and he has a YouTube channel that I've just kind of like sporadically helped him with. And I set up like 3 different cameras and I think I used this microphone and just editing that all together and like getting the best shots. That is the one time I've done multicam, going back to what Mckinnon was saying. That one, just getting to see my dad, who's not creative in that way, kind of like get the creative juices flowing and be like, oh well, what if the camera's over here? And just that one was a
Mhm.
lot of fun. And then the Cody No Love knockout animation I did, I think is another favorite. I don't know if you guys probably not, but that one is top tier.
If you guys know, Blessing did that dancing video a while back. If you've
That
seen the
one
one with his animation over it, Chance did that.
It has like the glowing
Oh.
stuff with it. Anyway, that one
I
didn't get
wanna
as
see
much
it.
traction, but Blessing hit me
Oh,
up
it's so
about it,
good.
and that
It's so good.
that made my heart flutter a little bit. But
Trying to
McKenna,
think.
how about yours?
Oh gosh. I mean, probably I'm gonna harp on the multicam video just a little bit more. Just like getting to see what was going on during like we were playing Fortnite. It was for Sport Night. The first episode we
Okay.
did was multicam. It was pre-recorded multicam. 3 out of the 4 of us recorded, and like we were all playing the same game, but everyone was having different experiences. So it was really cool just to like see like, oh, so that's what happened when Tom caught on fire. Okay, that makes more sense. He blew up a gas can. All right, well, I'm caught up now. That was really cool, and like I mentioned earlier, just like getting to figure out how to go about this. And I've been watching like video games on YouTube for, since I was in middle school. So it was like getting to like do like what I grew up watching was also super cool. It's like, oh my god, everything's coming together. But yeah, probably that the multicam video is probably one of my favorites off the top of my head.
Chris, did we
One of
stall
those-
long enough?
Oh, God, I hope so. It's one of those questions where somebody's like, "What's your favorite movie?" and you're like, "What movies have I ever
Oh.
seen?" Like
I'm right there with you on that question. On
every time, without fail, like, "What's your favorite food?"
what is food?
Yeah, I don't eat food anymore. I don't know if I have like a number one favorite, but two that come to mind first are somewhat recently. I really got into this game called Phantom Abyss.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like this your temple run, you're Indiana Jones running through temples and stuff. And I was just really enjoying it. And I was like, I'm gonna try to make a video about Phantom Abyss. And so I made this video on my YouTube that was like 10 tips for new players to Phantom Abyss. And it was really the first time I'd made something like that about a video game. And so it was something sort of new for me. And I just had so much fun putting it together, like finding like the exact right, like, because I had to play the game a little bit more to get footage for it, and finding like the exact right footage to talk about, like, jump up on this part, and then like find the footage of jumping up on there and
Yep.
timing it. And again, I tried to line it up with certain music and stuff, and it just felt like it was just so much fun finding like the right clip for the right moment. It was just a lot of fun doing that. And then somewhat recently, I've started getting into a slightly different uh, uh, editing recording style for when I post TikToks. Depending on what it's about. Like recently, back here, it's kind of hard to see, but right here is a gift that was given to me by my cousin, which is like a 3D printed and mechanical and light up version of my Twitch logo, which is just unbelievable.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah,
That thing is dope, dude.
it's ridiculous, right? It's insane. But I made a TikTok like showing it off, and like just I tried to like come in with like more quick cuts and like just play with how I record it and put it together. And I've just been having a lot of fun with like a slightly different style of like TikToks that are just like me recording my face as opposed to like a recut game clip. So it's just been that's been a lot of fun too. It's sort of like discovering a new style, I guess. But yeah, those are the two that come to mind.
Have you ever tried tempo editing?
No, what's that?
Where you just have like a what are they called? The
Oh, a
things that-
metronome?
Yeah, where you have a metronome going, and then like you edit to the beat of that, and then have you ever tried that at all?
No,
only done
but
it,
I
like,
want to
twice.
now.
It only works, or it works best if you have like a song picked out, and then you can pick that time signature, and then it makes it a lot easier to like edit on when the things are happening in the song. Just something that I've tried once or twice. Don't have like feelings about it one way or another, but it was just
Yeah.
kind of a fun exercise to do.
No, that sounds really fun. Because what I do now for music is I'll just I'll find the clip, I'll get the clip set up that I want, and then I get the music set up, and I'm like, oh, it's too long. Let me just cut this chunk of the music out and hope it relines up somewhere in the middle. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But then you just make the clip volume a little bit louder to mask.
Somebody
sounds way
screams and you
easier.
make that real loud.
Exactly.
Speaking of music, real quick before we wrap up, two things that have helped a lot: Stream Beats and Epidemic Sound.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
we,
Mhm.
at least Chance and I, we split Epidemic Sound here for Waypoint, and there's been so much time that's helped out. And then Stream Beats just shouts out to them. Like it's actually good
Yeah.
music, like for free.
Harris
There's-
Heller understands synthwave in a way I wish everybody else did.
Oh,
Like
man.
his synthwave stuff is so good.
There's also a resource similar to those that me and Robert have been using. I'm going to share it in the Waypoint Discord right now, just for you guys. I'm not sure on the exact pronunciation of this, but it's Feslian Studios. It's they just ask for like a one-time donation. The amount is basically up to you, and then you have access to this library of music. It's not like a crazy number of tracks. It's not like 4,000 tracks or whatever, but like the specific types of music that they have is great because not only like they have a lot of like stuff that sounds like it would be in a commercial or like really intense epic action music. Like there's a lot of stuff to fit a bunch of different styles. But one thing that I really like is they have like the full length song, and then they'll have like the 30-second version or like the
Oh my
15-second version
gosh.
or like the stinger version, so you can have like the same theme throughout everything, and you just pay the one-time thing. And like we use it for like the opening to our videos and the ending of our videos, and they don't you don't have to worry about copyright with that. You just make the one-time donation. That is fantastic.
That is ingenious. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about Epidemic Sound too. They don't have like the shortened versions. They will have a lot of the instrumental versions, but what we can actually do is download like the instruments separately. So if you like just want the beats, or if you just want
Ooh.
the guitar, like
I
That's
didn't
you don't have
know
to
they did
download the
that.
entire song. Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, I
Yeah.
think my videos that I'm editing for Waypoint just changed.
How much is Epidemic Sound?
I believe it's
Yeah.
what, 15 a month?
Yeah, and I owe you that.
Oh,
Owe you for
man.
September. I'm sorry. Just
Really
No
realized.
worries. Yeah,
Not bad at all.
it's honestly worth it. Like for all the like, Stream Beats is great, but they have pretty limited genres, whereas Epidemic Sounds has like any genre you could ever think of.
Yeah. I will say I found with video editing and a lot of content creation in general, like we're all poor as hell, but there are definitely some times when spending a little bit of money can go a long way and really save you time and energy and peace of mind. Like just if it's like 10, 15 bucks, sometimes that is more than worth it
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
There's a plugin that I've on the fence about getting. I think it's called Alec's Audio Butler, and what it does is basically it uses AI to like mix your audio, and I think you can get it for Resolve and Premiere, and I think like just for one it's like 80 or 90 bucks. But I'm like, ooh, to not have to like mix my audio properly, to have just an AI do that, like,
Pretty
making
tempting.
me think about that. Exactly. Just to save that time. So, all right. Thank you
So-
guys so much for. Oh, sorry.
I do have one question to lead us out on. Pie in the sky, everything you're working on right now gets blown up. You know, somebody walked in with a stick of dynamite when they shouldn't have been. You get then the United States government, whatever government you live in, is like, we will give you a job of your choosing at whatever place you want to work at. Where are you trying to work? It does. I feel like the easy answer is kind of funny or like something like that. Like, but just, and if it is kind of funny, that's totally fine. Personally, I think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Rooster Teeth would be awesome. Like, because
Yeah.
that's literally Achievement Hunter is what got me even thinking about doing content creation way back in 2012, 2013. So that would be a dream job for me.
For me personally, I don't know if you guys know you obviously know who Funhouse is. Their chief editor, if I remember correctly, is Matt Peak. Matt Peak, I love his editing style, and I would work underneath that man all day long. So that's my pick is Funhouse. sounds
we're
like
we're
Alex.
no longer allowed to pick our own projects. We can't pick like
Nope,
our own
it's
Twitch.
blown up.
That's fine.
Blown,
That's
blown
fine.
clean up.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure I understood the rules.
Your accounts
but,
got banned everywhere. Like something happened. Like
Because I feel like that's the easy answer is
man.
like what we're currently working on.
Yeah,
We would just
yeah.
like to have succeed at the level that we want it to.
Mhm.
True. That is the easy answer. Okay, fine. I'd probably go with the Wholesome Games, like the
Oh,
folks that did
yeah.
Wholesome Direct.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love the work
Yep.
that they do. I love the games that they put out. The people on the team seem really cool. I'll do whatever they want too. You just need like somebody to mop the floors. Sure, let's go. You know, I really appreciate the work that they do. I've really fallen in love with indie games while doing content creation, and I think it'd just be cool as heck.
Heck yeah.
I mean, kind of funny, but
Yeah.
probably Sony Pictures. I would love to work on Jeopardy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Anywhere where they need me, I'll write clues if I need to. Like
Yes.
anything. Let me be a judge. I don't care. I'll do anything on that show. I swear to God.
They need a host.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Call me. I'll be host. Dude, let's do it. You know why not? So yeah, kind of funnier. Sony Pictures. Either or.
quite the range there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
All encompassing.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
thank you
that
guys
was a
so
good
much for
question.
joining. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
very
Yeah.
much.
So before we head out, Makenna, start us off. Let people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at PotterPants212. Everything, anywhere else you can find me, any other podcasts or shows, there's a link in my bio, and that'll bring up the nice list of all the things. Yeah.
Chris, how about you?
Everywhere in the world, Robodessert, because it's a weird name, so luckily I have it everywhere. Except there's a Robodessert on DeviantArt that just posts like landscape portrait photos of like porcelain horses. I don't know what that's about. That's not me. But twitch.com/Robodessert, twitter.com/Robodessert, tiktok.com/@Robodessert. They have that weird @ symbol in the URL.
I don't understand.
youtube.com/co-op comedy. That's where I'm at.
All right. Well, yeah, again, this is awesome. This is the second kind of round table episode we've done of the grind, and I'm thinking we'll do a couple more of these, a couple of these a year, 2 to 4, something like that. These are always fun to kind of just throw into the mix, just rather than interviewing somebody, just have a conversation about a topic of content creation. So
I
So
learned
comment-
so much this episode.
Oh
Like,
Yeah.
we need to do
Yeah.
this more.
yeah, like
Got my notes.
yeah.
I've got some
All
stuff
right.
to look up.
Yeah. So leave a comment on what you think the next one should be. And on that note, we'll see you at the next waypoint.